we're on. I'm going to try to do this without turning it off.
Fantastic. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Cooking with Kat and Steph. We are 1 minute behind because we were looking at fun stuff and we got distracted. So, you know we love to be in the kitchen, and there's some cool knives around, so we had to ooh and ah. All right, so welcome. It's Wednesday, 5:30 p.m. If a couple of notifications come through that people are trying to join, I may stop and let them in as that happens. We will see. Because we want more people to be here for answering these questions. So let's see if I can get this going. Okay. Hello, Katie Lynn.
Yep, I was going to say somebody's there.
Yep. Lovely.
And it's Katie Lynn.
Lovely.
Katie Lynn, is it as hot there as it is in the other?
What is the Great White North doing?
The Great White North.
Yeah.
I don't know. Tell us. Are you hot there? Do you ever get hot?
They do on occasion. I'm very curious. Okay.
It's been a crazy year here.
Warm 65. That's cute.
You're probably wearing shorts and tank tops, huh?
65 degrees in that
I
warm house.
I would have a sweater on with that.
I think most of us in the rest of the U.S. would.
I'm kind of wimpy, but, you know.
I mean, they're used to that just moderate. Yeah. Okay. So for the rest of you that are joining us, we were just commenting on Katie Lynn's warm weather at 65 degrees in the Great White North. Where are the rest of you all at? What's the temperature here today? Hi, Marie.
And Melissa. Warm here too.
So
where are you? Tell us where you are.
We're in the northern U.S. and it's
the Midwest.
85 degrees here.
We live in separate states, believe it or not, but we're each in a Midwest state.
Yes.
We're both close to the border.
Yes. So it's 85 degrees here. Okay, so because it's 85 degrees here, 86,
California.
23% humidity. Oh,
Georgia. Hi, Karen.
I think our humidity here was close to 100% this last week. It was awful.
Well, I grew up in Louisiana, and I know what that feels like there. And here, I'm not used to it anymore.
Yeah. Okay. 90 in
Beaver Dam.
Oh.
Hi, trees.
Okay. I was going to say, I don't know what that means, but now I know what that means. Okay. So because of the warm weather, we're talking hydration today. We're also going to answer some questions from the Facebook group feed from the last week, where we left off last Wednesday.
Well, it depends on how many questions there are. We'll get through as many questions from the feed as we can. Alberta, Canada, 31 Celsius. You're going to have to help me out here. I am not as good at that. That's probably...
I think that's in the 70s, right? 70s to 80s? 100% humidity. I might have been wrong. It might have only been 90% humidity, but still it was like walking into a wet towel. It's yucky.
It was like walking out into an oven that was it's gross.
Okay. So we have some watermelon here today because we're going to talk about, in between answering some questions, we're going to talk about some hydrating foods.
Right, because it's so hard when you have dysphagia.
Yep.
When it's hard to swallow, it's hard to get enough. You're working on getting enough calories and nutrition, but you're also having to really focus on your hydration because of the heat. So we want to talk about how you can do that with as little work, because we don't want you to spend all of your calories trying to get in enough.
87 degrees.
Okay, so you're pretty warm.
Yikes. Yeah. Okay.
87.
Yikes.
Thanks for looking that up, Melissa. Or you just know.
We don't work in the metric system here as much. I can do kilograms and liters, but...
I have to keep reminding myself there are people much smarter than me.
So I have to say, when it comes to swallowing disorders, you are...
Well, I can answer those questions.
Yeah, you are one of the smartest people that I know.
Well, thank you.
Hands down.
I'll stick in that realm. How about that?
And I'll stick in the nutrition one.
Okay, good.
Okay, so we're going to eat some watermelon. I do want to talk real quick, though, about this is pretty juicy.
Yes, let's talk about what can happen.
So even my puppy, because I give him watermelon, and I gave him a chunk of watermelon last night as I was cutting this up, and he crunched down on it, and then he goes, like he coughed because it got away from him.
Yep.
Because watermelon is very juicy, but it also has that fibrous part that holds it all together.
So it's a solid and a liquid all in one. So when you bite into the solid, it releases the liquid. So then your mouth is having to manage both a liquid and a solid. So that's what makes it hard, especially if you're not used to or don't eat many things that have both.
Yep.
And particularly if you have slower moving muscles in the within the swallowing mechanism, it can get away from you very quickly, that thin liquid, especially while you're managing the solid.
Yep. So as I'm chewing, that liquid's coming out. And I have to be able to manage that liquid while I'm still chewing the solid part. And we don't think about this because it's a fruit. We think it's a solid, but it's really more of a liquid than a solid, I would say. I can't even swallow watermelon anymore. Correct. So
one of the things that I can tell you to try is keep your head down. We call it a chin tuck. And the reason for that is gravity is going to hold that liquid closer to the front of your mouth. And it won't be able to escape to the next phase of swallow until those muscles are able to
engage?
That's the word I'm looking for.
Okay.
I don't know why. I think this heat is messing with my head today.
Words are
Until
sometimes
those
hard.
muscles can engage to actually swallow, it may be worth a try using a chin tuck.
So the other thing we can do is we can blend it and we can strain it and we can just have you drink the juice. That's another option. We can also do this with cucumbers because cucumbers have a similar structure. And so one of the things that we know is that some of these fruits and vegetables are like 98, 96% water. So we want you to consume these because they also have other vitamins and minerals in them that are helpful, especially in the summer heat. We like the potassium in the watermelon.
It just stays stuck. Oh, okay. So it's not about the liquid.
Okay. So
you may be able to blend it. This is
why we do this, Melissa.
Yep. Didn't even know what the heck was happening. I didn't even equate it to the choking issue. Yes, it can cause a lot of problems. I've had the same issue with a really juicy apple before, to where it got away from me.
Yeah.
But that chin tuck hopefully will help.
Yep. I haven't even taken all the stuff off of here yet.
We got another, just FYI guys, we got another Ninja Blast.
Costco had them on sale. It was a 2-pack for $80, and normally they're like $65 a piece. So that was a
really good deal.
Really good deal. Okay, so I'm going to turn it on. Okay, so first question or first comment on the feed. So my wife is making spaghetti. She wants me to try and puree it and eat. Basically just spaghetti sauce, ground beef, and pasta. But I'm so nervous. Correct, Marie. Melons are not necessarily friendly because they're very high in water. And that water can get away from you if you're not prepared for it. Even if you are prepared for it, it can get away from you. So we recommend blending. Just a couple of shakes. This watermelon did have seeds, and I tried to get out as many of the seeds as possible before bringing it.
I don't know why this is giving me such a hard time.
I struggle with the wrappers on English cucumbers too.
I don't like that they wrap them, but I like these cucumbers.
Yeah. So they
Until
wrap
mine
them.
grow.
Yeah. They wrap them because the skins are so thin that they dry out real fast.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're just gonna start with Some pureed.
So this will still have the fiber in it, but you're not having to manage it. Now, if you have trouble feeling like it gets stuck, it may still happen, but it's doing all the chewing for you.
Ooh, that piece is really juicy. That one has some seeds in it still, so we won't throw that in there. And then if you really need to, you can strain it.
You can strain it to have the flavor.
Yep. Thoughts?
So I did get a bit of a kind of chunk of, not chunk, that's the wrong word.
Texture.
Like a ball of the, because the last part of it was all liquid, but the first part of it was,
Yeah.
but it wasn't textured like
Right.
chewing
So
the watermelon from.
I still got 1 or 2 pieces that were solid. So I would say I should have maybe blended it twice before pouring it if you need it super, super thin. But I think if you blend it twice and then you do need it thin, strain it, and you'll end up with a good amount. Okay. So I want to talk about this comment.
Yes.
Wife's making spaghetti. You're nervous. Sauce, meat, pasta. Ideally, there's a little bit of fat in that ground
Meat sauce.
beef and a little bit in the tomato sauce. And that is going to help it blend smoother. We understand your concern.
So, right. So one of the things that I think is important is that when you are pureeing pasta, I think the meat sauce is going to help it to blend smoother, but you have to be careful with the amount of pasta that you put in there because it is really going to thicken up what you're pureeing because it's a starch.
Yep.
I got to fix this.
Okay.
So you
Hi,
can keep talking about
Marcia.
that.
How about adding some thickener in there after blending to make it a little thicker? 100%, Karen. Yes, we can.
If you can tolerate thicker, absolutely.
Okay. So I'm going to blend this while she's getting the camera adjusted. And you can throw thickener into it while it's blending also. And that's going to help it blend more consistently than just doing it with a fork or a spoon. I forget that these go for 30 seconds instead of 20 seconds. It's kind of nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is almost 8 ounces of juice in those couple of chunks that I put there. So, Katie Lynn, yes, you need one of those personal blenders. And yes, Linda, I have a fork and a spoon for earrings. Yes. I wear them at work so people identify me as the dietitian quicker.
She gets a lot of compliments on those earrings.
Yeah. Yeah. They're good earrings. Okay. So one of the other comments that was listed on here was use the pasta sparingly and make sure you chop everything up first. The sauce might be enough liquid. You can add some water too if you need it. Trial and error is our new motto. This comment, spot on.
Right. So with that, in terms of the water that you're adding, I might recommend to use either salted water so that you're not diluting the flavor of your pasta and meat sauce. Or you could choose to use some beef bone broth, which will increase your protein and add the flavored liquid that will help.
Yep. Or I add season your water or use broth.
Any kind of broth. Bone broth will add a little more nutrition. It's a little more expensive too, though. So it's kind of like you got to weigh what you're able to do.
Yep. Okay. So I think we've done a lot of trial and error around blending pasta and blending meat. So
yes.
Blending
it together will be easier
Yes.
than blending pasta by itself and then blending the meat sauce by itself.
Yep. I need some help with ideas that are also good with GERD. I don't mind the pureed foods, just glad to eat, but almost everything gives me heartburn. I have so many questions. If everything gives you heartburn, I'm concerned that your lower esophageal sphincter is not closing. So I don't know that we can address it with diet if we're having trouble with that lower esophageal sphincter closing.
Yes, but I do recommend start a food diary.
Yes.
If it's not all the time, start a food diary and see which of those foods or when. Is it a time of day? Is it a certain food that's causing that reflux to be worse or to be at its greatest?
Yeah. And are you taking a PPI? And if you aren't taking it, maybe we need to consider talking to your doctor about getting on one for 6 weeks.
Yeah, at least a start, yes.
Yes. I love my doctor because she says on for 6 weeks, off for 10 weeks, because we don't want your body, unless you need it full time, we don't want your body to need it all the time. So food diary, step number 1.
Yep.
Track it. Okay. Next comment, anyone else's teeth starting to suffer from this dysphagia thing?
Ooh.
There are no comments on it yet.
How soon? I haven't seen that one yet.
That
8
was
hours ago?
8
I
hours
haven't
ago.
even been. Okay. Is anyone else's teeth? Let's talk about how your teeth can be affected.
Yep. So where's Katie Lynn? Because she was the first comment when we got on here today. She works in a dental office. And we had the pleasure of one of her dentists, hi Suzanne, joining us in our membership in December and doing a masterclass on oral health.
Yes. And that is still stored in our membership.
It
so
is.
for all of you that are in the membership, you can go back and watch that to remind you.
Yes.
But let's talk a little bit about why dysphagia can affect your teeth. Number 1, if you're only on liquids and you're not chewing, you don't have that resistance or that feedback to help so you don't have to chew,
Right.
but that proprioceptive feedback helps to send messages through all of those sensory neurons, sensory receptors that are in your mouth, and it helps keep everything in there healthy. So if you are full liquid, I recommend chewing on something. There's these things called chewy tubes, to where you get nothing. It's called non-nutritive dysphagia therapy, but just chewing on a tube. I don't recommend using pencils because people can get chunks of that. It also helps with cleaning too, yes. So that would have food in it.
So this is called a
Side biter.
side biter.
You can put food in there, and it only lets a small amount out. You can put pureed in there, or you can put
Scoffles.
solid,
Yep.
but it'll only let a little bit out.
And the idea, this was developed by a speech therapist. And these are on her website called Gnosh, Gnosh. And the idea is you chew on it. And it can let flavor out, or you can just do it without anything in it.
Right.
We want you getting that feedback in your jaw to keep your jawbone healthy, to keep your teeth moving. And we also do see some increase in cavities because people who are not chewing food regularly or solid food, it's not quite the same with puree, they don't have the wear and the food brushing things off of their teeth like people who eat.
Right. So when you chew food, it kind of scratches stuff off your tongue. It scratches some of the plaque. Now, obviously, you need to brush for that too. But it helps your oral health. Now, this is great. I love it. But if you're worried about the food coming through the holes in this, just get a chewy tube or some kind of tube. If you can chew gum, chew gum. I can't chew gum. It gives me a headache. But if you can chew gum and tolerate the saliva and swallow the saliva, then that's great. That's going to help. But the other thing that I want to bring to your attention is hydration and oral health. if you are dehydrated, that is also going to affect your oral mucosa. So it dries out just like the rest of your body does. I was making a comment earlier about how thirsty I am right now because of the heat. But I'm going to tell you, I had gotten myself used to being dehydrated at one point before I started drinking more. Now I had to gradually increase. And I never got thirsty, but I was so chronically dehydrated that I didn't feel thirsty.
That was your new normal.
If you don't feel thirsty, but you have dryness of your skin or of your mouth, your tongue,
your eyes,
your nose, all of that, it could be that you are chronically dehydrated.
Yeah. So we need to find ways to get more hydration into you. Soups, foods that have extra liquid in them, like grains, pasta, it absorbs water, right? Okay, so I want to go over here and check out. Oh, no, don't want that. Okay. Katie Lynn says it helps with the cleaning too. Yep, I've gotten 3 cavities lately after years and years of none. Yep, it's because you're not chewing. How do you use an electric toothbrush, floss daily, and brush teeth frequently? Yes. 2 kinds of mouthwash for gums and teeth strengthening, dental picks too, and chewed sugar-free gum. So the chewing gum, for any of you that have TMJ, I don't necessarily recommend that. But if you have a strong, healthy jaw, chewing gum is not a bad idea. You just have to be careful if you're using chewing gum that is sweetened with sugar alcohols. Those can cause diarrhea in excess amounts. So we want you to be careful.
So listen to the dietitian.
Because sugar alcohols can cause a laxative effect, which we do not like.
No, because you need to keep the hydration that you have.
Yep. Okay. Tip last week on Gaviscon for the GERD. Yes, something to try. It did help. Vomiting, food, and reflux. Acid is bad for teeth, so dentist said rinse, but don't brush right away. That's a great tip. 100%. Because if there's that acid there, you don't want to brush that acid in. You want to rinse it out.
Right. Absolutely. Always rinse and spit.
I'm drinking water, but I can't get the boost and other calorie foods down, so it's a no-win. You're still getting hydration from the boost and other calorie foods. It's still a win. If you are drinking milk, juice, water, soup, boost, protein drinks, you're still getting hydration in. There is still fluids in those foods. That's why we're talking specifically hydrating foods today. So it's not a loss.
So I'm going to show you something that I think might be helpful for some of you. So we're going to do a cottage cheese.
I have half a peach here. Do you want to do peach or watermelon?
I think peach.
Peach. I think so too. Okay. I'm going to cut this just a tiny bit. Grab this knife. I like this knife better. It's little.
I mean, there would be more liquid that came out of the watermelon, I feel like.
But I think flavor-wise, the peach and the cottage cheese are more complementary.
Yes. Okay, so we're going to make a little drink here for you. Oh, look, he saved my coffee.
Well, that was so sweet of him. She forgot to take her coffee to work this morning. Okay.
There's tomorrow's coffee.
There it is, yes.
Okay, I'm going to add some liquid too.
Yep.
Milk. Yep. Because milk is liquid.
You could add mango juice. You could add another kind of juice.
Peach nectar. They sell peach nectar. You could add that.
And it's slightly thick or mildly thick. So it's a little bit thick already, which is kind of nice because it's naturally that way.
Oh, something's wrong here. Okay. So this is our other Ninja. We are now the proud owners of 2
Yay!
Ninja Blasts.
Okay.
So this drink that we're making is going to have protein in it.
From
in addition to the fluids that, and it looks peachy.
It's a pretty color. I brought a spoon just in case you just want to take a bite and not a whole glass.
We'll see how it.
Okay. I buy frozen fruit as they last longer and get a bit more moisture as it melts, and I buy peach nectar add-in. Love that. Yes.
What a great idea.
Yes.
I do like the idea of frozen fruit because then I'm going to
do
go
too.
ahead and blend. I'm going to blend one more time just because
Blend it again.
that never hurts.
Okay.
And I want it to be smooth.
So the other thing with oral health is that you need to eat enough nutrients. Now, I had an instructor a long time ago say, you never want to talk to people about nutrients. You want to talk to them about food. We get nutrients from food, so let's talk about food. We need the right nutrients to make sure our teeth and our bones remain healthy. If we are not eating a variety of foods that have all kinds of nutrients in them, we need to supplement those. Most people... You can also freeze this and make popsicles out of this.
That's what we were going to originally do.
We just didn't have enough time. So this is nutrient dense. It's got the cottage cheese, which has protein and calcium, and the milk has vitamin D. The peach has fiber and other vitamins and minerals. Thoughts?
I think so it is a little bit thick. So if you need it's super smooth. Mm-hmm. Yours has a little chunk. I think that's the
it has a
cottage
chunk
cheese.
of peach.
Oh, is it peach?
Yeah. I didn't skin it first.
I think
put it all
adding
in there.
peach nectar in here, or even any kind of, you could put apple juice.
100%. Yep. And if you need it a little sweeter, you can always add a little bit of honey.
Yes, it's not super sweet, but we didn't add any sweetener, so I think honey would be good. Mm-hmm. Honey is a natural.
I like it.
I do too.
I like that a lot. Also hydrating. It's got the fruit in it. It's got the liquid from the milk.
And even cottage cheese itself has a little bit of...
Yes. So Melissa says, I'm finding cottage cheese might go to food for almost every meal. Thank you for the idea of jazzing it up. You're welcome. That's what we do here. We jazz things up. We've never said it that way before, so thank you for that. But yes.
Yes, good.
Target had these silico things to freeze yogurt or juices. Was great for me. Yes, I love those too. Especially because you can get fun little shaped ones sometimes.
Let me grab the ones that we have.
Okay. So the other thing I wanted to talk about, because some of you haven't seen our lives before when we do this, have to get some calories in with all the drinks I make. Yes, and cottage cheese and milk are a great way to get calories in. And we like the calories from the fruit also, even though it's not as calorie dense. It's still very nutrient dense in those calories. So we like it a lot. Yeah. Our little popsicle holders. Yes.
Pretty inexpensive, but you know what? You can use a solo cup, or you can use whatever you have.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just put a skewer in it or something.
I mean, they sell popsicle sticks in big packs. You can always just...
You can do that.
Yeah.
Whatever you have.
So I'm not going to blend this today, but I want to talk to you guys about salad. Because if you want salad and you haven't had salad in a while, we take some mixed greens. This is mostly arugula because I love me some arugula and it was on sale.
Get some outside before you leave.
Deal. We take our lettuce, we put it in our blender, we add some salad dressing and some water, and we blend it and we make a salad, a pureed salad.
I personally feel that arugula and that watermelon would be really good together.
With a little bit of feta cheese in there.
And the spinach too. Let's put some in there.
Okay.
Because that may even help the fiber
Okay.
that's left over from...
I like experiments.
Oh, I like these ideas.
I like experiments. So once upon a time when I did fancy catering, we did a watermelon feta cheese arugula salad. It was all very, very fancy. I'm just going to throw all of it in here. Because maybe not. We'll throw as much of it in as we can. Yeah, feta cheese on here too is going to add that salt. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's going to be so good.
Add some goat cheese.
That might be delicious.
You want to throw some goat cheese in there?
I used to get those peach cups with the diced peaches in it and dump it and all the juices in with some cottage cheese. Yes, that's one of my favorite things to do too. Okay, turning it on. Oh, I have to be patient.
That's the only thing about these is that you have to plan ahead.
Yeah.
Goat cheese, creamy goat cheese. We'll try that. Feta would be a little bit saltier.
The feta cheese would make it smoother too. This goat cheese will make it pretty smooth also. And if you're worried, strain it. Okay? Goat cheese with watermelon. Yes. A little bit of salt from the goat cheese. Oh. Talk about flavor.
That's what we're doing.
Okay. Throw it in there, sister. I'm excited about this.
That's about a tablespoon.
Who knew we were going to do a watermelon arugula salad today? I love it when things come together.
We didn't know we were going to do this, but I'm going to eat this.
So I love arugula because it's got so much flavor. It's a little bit spicy without being spicy.
To me, the pepperier, the better.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, I love goat cheese.
Okay, so next question from the feed. Has anyone tried Botox injections for their dysphagia? Did it help at all? The ENT said they might want to start that if they can't find a root cause for my dysphagia.
Beware. Be careful.
I love that reaction, by the way. It tells me everything I need to know.
I am not here to contradict your doctor.
Correct.
If your doctor has identified that Botox will help you, then that's great. My concern with Botox is it can make things worse if not done, if those, so you're basically with Botox, you're paralyzing muscles.
Yes, temporarily.
It is temporary, but temporary to about 3 months.
Correct.
To 4 months, depending on how your body reacts to it. So, if they can't find anything else, let's try Botox. That's what scares me.
Yeah.
Because if they can't find the reason for the swallow, what are they Botoxing?
Right. Can we get a good speech therapist involved that understands Botox? So when...
Oh my gosh.
When would you use Botox for dysphagia? Because I know it is done, and I know it is recommended, and it can be very helpful for some people.
So Botox in the upper esophageal sphincter, when the upper esophageal sphincter is not opening.
That is so flavorful. Oh my goodness.
I know.
Talk about a salad in a smoothie. Like I didn't know I'd be so happy with this, but I am.
And you could do just spinach if you don't like arugula. This is very arugula-y.
Yeah.
But just spinach or kale.
Okay. Good to know about Botox. The negatives, that is, swallowing spit is the issue.
Okay.
This is interesting.
Yes. So a number of things could be going on there, Nathan. I would probably want to talk a little bit more about what's going on with you. That's not just a general. So having difficulty swallowing spit, can you spit it out? Like, can you spit into a tissue?
Right.
Or do you drool a lot? I guess I would need to know a lot of questions.
All the speech therapy questions.
Yeah.
Okay. Sphincter doesn't always open, would not do Botox. Lots of tissues. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the sphincter doesn't always open. Yes. So Botox in that situation. So if your swallowing issue often is because you feel something stuck, and it truly is stuck because the upper esophageal sphincter doesn't open and the food is not making it into the esophagus, then that may be a reason. I'm not suggesting. That's a doctor question for sure. My biggest issue with that question is that if they don't know what's causing it, just jumping to Botox would concern me. Because I would want to see how all those muscles are working. We don't want to stop some of the muscles that actually shouldn't be stopped.
So would a modified barium swallow so you could see what's going on with that swallowing be helpful?
It would be helpful, but that information would need to go to the doctor, because even the speech therapist that is doing that swallow study cannot make the decision that Botox is appropriate.
Right.
That is a medical decision.
Right. Yes.
That we cannot.
We cannot.
But just make sure that it's not, this is our last resort.
Right. Right. Okay. Some fluids pool in the throat.
Okay.
There are spaces in there for that to happen safely. I've learned from you.
Yes. So pooling in, where is the pooling? In the piriform sinuses, in the vallecula. Yes. But that screams weakness to me. Pooling or residual screams weakness. It's allergies and scoliosis? Maybe scoliosis? Okay. It's allergies. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So you have excess saliva.
And my dietitian brain is sending me all kinds of red flags right now. What are you eating that your body's reacting to? Like, I see a food sensitivity or possible allergy here. So for you, I'm also going to say, start a food diary, write down the symptoms you're having and when, and let's see if we can figure out a pattern for what foods are causing the excess saliva or mucus production.
That is delightful.
Yeah, who knew?
That is delightful.
And we could do this as like a formed salad if we added a little bit of thickener or gelatin.
Yes, you could.
Dust allergies and chocolate sensitivity. Yes. So You know some of them. I wonder if there are more. So keep an eye on what your body is telling you, because your body is smart and we want to listen to it. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's talk this next one. This is a longer one. About 9 months ago, around the time of Halloween, I started noticing food getting stuck in my esophagus. I chalked it up as maybe I was taking bigger bites than normal, but then it progressed. I couldn't swallow the tiniest of bites. I've had multiple tests that all come back normal. I had an endoscopy with a biopsy for EOE, and that came back fine. He even dilated my esophagus, and that didn't change anything. I had the manometry test done, and that came back too, with possible reflux, so they put me on omeprazole for 4 months, and that didn't help. Today, I did the barium swallow, and that came back normal also. I wasn't able to swallow the thick liquid. I was only able to swallow the thin liquid in the pill. I had a very hard time swallowing the pill. My next test is a CT of my abdomen and pelvic area. I've lost 100 pounds since Halloween of 2024. All I can eat are chips dipped in different sauces like ranch barbecue, French dressing, etc., and tomato bisque. Does anyone have any recommendations on next steps? I'm feeling very defeated anymore. I'm only 27. So many things.
Diet.
Yes. You're eating something that your body is reacting to.
And it's causing inflammation. I talk a lot about sensory imprint sensations. Okay, so if your esophagus is inflamed, when you swallow food or try to swallow food, you may be getting a sensory imprint. So when the food goes by those inflamed membranes, mucous membranes, it leaves an imprint. Just like when you push your hand into a memory foam mattress. You pull your hand away and the imprint of your hand is still there for a little while until those membranes fill back in. Mm-hmm. That can happen with the mucous membranes of the swallowing mechanism. It's also taking up more space than it should, so it's harder to get things through it, which makes it that imprint greater.
Yes.
So every morning that I take my vitamins, I feel a sensory imprint. I could look for smaller vitamins, but I don't want to.
But you're also drier first thing in the morning, so there's not as much moisture.
True.
So it's all part of it.
So it could be that sensory imprint. It also tells me that you may have some inflammation. Inflammation is not necessarily seen on any of the swallow studies. unless it were so severe that it was impeding
movement.
Yeah. So that's my, I would keep a food diary. Of course, you're saying that you're not eating as much.
So you're not eating enough protein. You need to get more protein in. Chips with sauces don't have any protein, so I'm concerned about your muscle.
Yeah.
We need to get some muscle back on you. So can we do protein drinks? Can you do protein powder mixed in juice or milk or
We could add protein powder
something?
into this watermelon.
100%.
Unflavored protein powder into this watermelon smoothie that has spinach and arugula in it, and it would be filled with protein.
And so I also want to mention, just because the barium swallow came back normal doesn't mean there's not something going on.
Absolutely. 1,000%.
Can you elaborate a little bit more?
Well, typically when you do a swallow study, they're looking for do you aspirate or don't you aspirate? If you don't aspirate, then
Normal.
it's normal because you're not necessarily at an urgent risk. Malnutrition and dehydration is a chronic risk, but that urgent risk, and that's what the medical, what's the word I'm looking for?
The
Establishment
yeah.
is looking for is that immediate risk, and is there something that they need to do?
Right.
So, a dietitian to help you figure out how to get increased types of foods.
High quality nutrition in, so that I'm seeing this, you're having a lot of processed foods that are probably higher in some salt and some other things that tend to cause inflammation. So your first instinct about inflammation, I feel like, was spot on. Can we get in some more whole foods? Can we get in some watermelon? Can we get in some other veggies like cucumber and salad? Because we can turn those things into drinks that are nutrient dense. Can you get a juicer and juice fruits and vegetables to start with and add protein to that? Because we have to, and going back to anti-inflammatory, which we talked about last week, sodium and sugar are triggers for most people. Mostly sugar. If you're triggering to sugar initially, it can cause you to trigger to sodium later, which is typically what we see. So we want to add anti-inflammatory foods. So these are whole fruits and vegetables that don't come with a food label on them, right? So anything that comes with a food label often has been highly processed, things taken out, put back in to increase the nutrition in them. We don't just want empty calories just to give you calories. We want nutrient-dense calories.
Food.
Real food. Mexican sour cream to things. It's thinner and not as sharp as sour cream and adds a good amount of moisture. I want to say that probably has some probiotics also, which are good bacteria as well. So I like that idea.
Yeah, good idea. Really good idea.
So you are not alone. There are things that can help you. Do not give up. You got to improve your nutrition status in order to get the swallowing back on track. What is it that you say? If we improve your nutrition,
the swallow will follow.
Okay.
I need to trademark that.
You do need to trademark that. Okay. Hi, everyone. My mom was recently diagnosed with dysphagia in February this year after she choked on a tablet and it left a scar on her esophagus. We have never heard of this condition before, and it's breaking my heart. My mom is frightened of the condition and scared to eat. She has lost so much weight. It's also affected her speech. But my mom's tests and scans are normal. The speech and language therapist doesn't know why it's affecting her speech. Has anyone else experienced this? Any comments would be appreciated. This is all new to my mom, and I have lost weight with worry. Thanks in advance. I will get back as soon as I can, as I'm always helping my mom. Touche to you for taking such good care of your mama.
Yes.
This does happen, where
So-
something gets stuck and...
Yes. There is a reason that speech therapists do swallowing therapy.
Yes.
Because we use the same muscles in the oral phase of our swallow as we use for speaking. So since February, so we're looking at what, 4 months? You could have 4 months of less use of those muscles, which makes those muscles weaker.
Yes.
So yes, it can affect her speech because the muscles may be weaker now. Is there something else going on? I don't know. Lots of questions I would have and could talk about it if I had more information about her medical history.
So the feeling you have there, I've never heard of something like this leaving a scar, but
It could.
it's possible because if a medication sits there long enough, it can burn. So we like to be extra conscientious about people who have difficulty swallowing medications. We did a live several weeks back, maybe last month, about medications. It might have been 2 months ago. So
yeah, I think that one's on YouTube.
it's really important to focus on your hydration, making sure that you're staying hydrated. Just like Stephanie was saying, when she takes her pills in the morning, it's harder to get them down. A lot of times that's because you're drier in the morning. So can you get some water in before you swallow your medications? Can your doctor prescribe you a liquid medication instead of a tablet or a capsule? And for you as well, you have to eat and take care of you so that you can take the best care of her. So I want to encourage you and help advocate for you to take good care of yourself also at a time like this. It's consistent nutrition every day that is going to help her feel better. You have to treat it like a job, or you're not as intentional about it, I guess. We want you to be very intentional about encouraging her to get foods in. Start with things that are easy, that she likes the taste of. And then work up to improving the nutrition.
Right.
Pills causing issues because of dysmotility. That's another issue with esophageal dysmotility, yes. It's problematic. And we're attempting to partner with a company that has supplements and medications in dissolvable strip form. Bless you. Okay, take my medication with mushroom coffee. I love me some mushroom coffee. Makes a big difference. If I'm taking it with my electrolytes, with just water, I'm adding a little bit of thickener to water to help with the feeling. Sometimes thickening things is really, really beneficial at helping them slide down. Cottage cheese or yogurt afterwards if I need, because, yes. So it's really important to figure out strategies for getting things in easier.
There's a couple, I want to go back and look a little bit.
Okay.
Everything bagel seasoning. I started using that a lot too. Tahini, I love that too. Tahini and watermelon is really good together.
100%. It probably would have gone great in here.
Yep. I've heard of pills causing issues. Yes, because of dysmotility, real problem for people with weak swallowing muscles. Yes. Okay, this is the one that I needed to go back to.
Okay.
Suffocated on my own oxygen when I had a medical emergency, and the oxygen they gave me had no oxygen in it. And I went to sleep for a while, and sometimes if I get overwhelmed, the muscle that works my tongue like disappears. Okay. So not getting enough oxygen can change all of your muscles. So yes, I get it. And I also know how getting stressed or anxious about something can throw off a lot of things in your body.
We talk a lot about the gut-brain connection. So it's like getting on stage to do public speaking and you get butterflies in your stomach, or you have to go to the bathroom really quick, or you throw up because the anxiety manifests in your body.
What's going on in your brain is going on in your gut, and what's going on in your gut can affect your brain.
Yes. And remember, Your mouth and your swallowing and your esophagus are all part of your gut. They are the same pathway that is your gut. And so it may be that that overwhelm is affecting here instead of here.
Yes.
So you are not alone.
Yes.
We have to work on some relaxation techniques and stress management for you. So the holistic approach for this is working on managing your stress effectively, which takes work.
So I would recommend go onto YouTube and search vagus nerve reset.
Yes.
And try doing some vagus nerve resets, especially when you're feeling a little anxious.
Yep.
And see if that helps you some.
And some breathing exercises also, like box breathing, 4-7-8 breathing, and there's another one that we have recommended in the past, but those two are the ones I think of the most. Yep.
Yep, and they're all on YouTube. Go to YouTube, find them. We'll help you.
Okay.
Oh, 2 new comments.
Yep.
You're welcome, Melissa.
Okay. Last spring, I swallowed a piece of meat about the size of a pea that was stuck in my esophagus. I was taken by ambulance to University Hospital to have a GI doctor remove it. Done. Then in a few months, I noticed my speech changing. I've done so much testing and they have finally given me a diagnosis, even though they have gotten negative results on the testing for the disease. They have diagnosed me with ALS because they think nothing else fits. They think it because it may be too early to show up on testing.
That's very interesting. That's very interesting.
ALS is not a diagnosis of exclusion, so that's...
Usually.
Huh.
Okay.
I'm intrigued by this.
Yeah. Yeah, not a diagnosis that I...
Would have even ever considered for that.
Well, yeah. But maybe. I mean, those doctors have more information than we do, so I defer to them. Okay, we're running out of time.
Let's do one more.
Okay.
Okay, so I got up, took my pills, and tried to drink my Ensure. It literally felt like it didn't want to go down. It was really difficult swallowing. It honestly freaks me out because if I have trouble drinking fluids, what do I do then? Time out. You're probably dry in the morning. Just like I've already said, I think 3 times now. Try drinking some water first or something else that's going to help with hydration prior to taking your pills. Because if you take your pills first and everything in your
system is dry,
you're going to have more trouble and you're going to feel it more. Okay? So hydration, especially when it's hot out, especially when you've been outside or sweating, you're losing more hydration than you realize. And so
I keep a glass of water at my bedside so that if I wake up in the night and my mouth is dry, I can take a sip of water.
Yeah.
And it also is there for me to take a sip when I first wake up, because I too wake up dry, and I try to drink water before I drink coffee, or that's why it was left on my counter, because I left for work without my coffee, because I had drank water through the morning.
Yep. Good job.
I'm trying. I've never been a big water drinker until...
I'm a great influence.
but now my body can tell me again that I'm thirsty.
Right, which is important.
It's so important.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how dehydrated I was.
So if you're having trouble swallowing first thing in the morning, start with a little bit of water just to coat your mouth. Give it a minute. Have a little bit more. See how well it goes down. Because often when you're dry, that first sip, no matter what it is hard. Even for people who don't have dysphagia. They're just not as aware of it because they're not thinking about their swallowing all the time like you guys are.
Right.
So I don't want you to jump to worst case scenario. I see a comment on here about a feeding tube is another option. We're not even close to that. That's not even something we're talking about in this scenario. So if you continue to have trouble drinking fluids while you are well hydrated, there are other things we can do. Do we need to look at thickening things so you have a little bit more proprioception and feeling as things go down. Is it a hypersensitivity or a hyposensitivity? There are so many other things we need to look at before we jump to worst case scenario here.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
Let's start with hydration, and then let's look at your pills. Are you taking them all at the same time? Are you taking one at a time? Can we get your doctor to look at giving you liquid versions of some of them?
Can you crush them into something that is like pudding or yogurt, or even putting it on a spoon with liquid?
Yep.
The crushed.
Yep.
We just ordered a bunch of pill crushers, and we may be giving some out
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah. Yep.
Because very important.
Yep.
Medications are important for all of your medical needs, and there's not a pill necessarily that's going to help your dysphagia, but if your other medical conditions can't be addressed via your medication, then your swallowing is going to get worse, or can get worse. I shouldn't say.
And we want to prevent worsening. We want to prevent progression of everything.
Yes.
So,
Food is medicine.
We're going to end on that. I'm drinking a liter of water during the night, and my smartwatch app has asked me, what's the deal with getting up so much? I'm really trying not to drink all the water, but it is what it is. So can you log, in that app, can you log water that you're drinking at that time? I know it's one extra step, but
And
I wonder
she's sleeping. I bet she wants to just go back to sleep.
I do want to go back to sleep too, but I'm curious if, I hate that smart technology is not always very smart. If you're dry, you need to drink water.
But she's getting a whole liter.
That's a lot during the night.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I wouldn't be able to drink that much because I would have to go to the bathroom.
Like every hour or two.
Yeah.
Yeah. Curious. Very curious.
Sorry, Melissa.
Yeah.
I really would have to get up.
Yeah.
I can't imagine drinking a liter at night.
I wake up in the middle of the night and drink water, but I don't think I'm drinking a liter.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Some of us are just drier than others.
At least you know you're getting that hydration.
There was a comment in here about saliva production that I did want to touch on. I know I said one more, but do you remember seeing that?
I remember reading it. I think that I even commented on it.
Okay. Because I wanted to talk about saliva production. Is it excess saliva production or not enough saliva production? Because if it's not enough...
It was not enough. It was xerostomia.
My first question is, are you hydrated enough?
That was my first response.
Yeah. Do you have enough moisture in your body?
To make saliva.
You have a great night too, Melissa. Thanks for all your questions and input. We appreciate you. Yeah.
Good night.
So I can't find the comment, but and if your saliva is thick, you're dehydrated. You need more hydration. So if you can't get enough water in, when my nephew wakes you up, I'm always good about drinking fluids. So thanks to my lovely little nephew, you stay hydrated. That's cute. Is he staying hydrated too, is my next question. He's 6. He's adorable. I love him. Yes. Water.
So dry mouth can be caused by medications. It can be caused by dehydration. It can be caused by problems.
Autoimmune conditions. Okay.
So there's so many things that can cause that, but it's a real condition that needs to be addressed. It can affect your swallowing.
Yeah.
Absolutely can affect your swallowing.
We're glad you're here, Darcy.
Oh, thank you, Darcy. We love this group too. You guys are the best.
Yep. So keep at your hydration. It's hydration and malnutrition go hand in hand. And hydration and swallowing go hand in hand. So we want to make sure that you're getting in consistent amounts of hydration throughout the day. It doesn't just have to be water. Yes, I preach water because some of us don't drink enough, myself included.
But all of these things that you're adding fluid to drink, and you can add increased nutritional things to it, like the cheese, like the cottage cheese, like the goat cheese, like the spinach. There are so many things that you can add. recipes out there if you need recipes for that.
I'm really glad I didn't eat this for lunch.
I'm glad you didn't also.
Worked out beautifully.
Very good.
Okay.
All right, folks. This went by so fast.
Oh my goodness.
We started late, so it's good that
We're right at an hour right now.
Right.
Okay.
So you guys have a great week.
Yep.
Happy 4th of July.
For those of you in the U.S.
Tried to wear my blue and white, and if you could see my feet,
It's
it
pink.
should be red.
Yeah.
It should be red. But I don't have red shoes.
I wore my work shirt, and so Stephanie gave me a more appropriate shirt than my work shirt that I had on today.
gave her
So thank
something-
you. Summer.
Sorry.
I love it. Have a safe Independence Day if you're in the U.S. Have a wonderful weekend if you're outside the U.S. We look forward to being right back here with you next Wednesday.
Yes.
All right.
Have a good one.
Bye, everybody.